Good morning and welcome to the 28 days of play. I hope you guys are really enjoying your February instead of just making it through. It was so nice where I live yesterday, so I'm hopeful, although I made the mistake of looking ahead at the forecast, and of course it's getting cold again, so I think it's just playing with my emotions, really. I wanted to talk to you about today's prompts. So today we are on day 19. And it says, let space be part of the beauty. And there's a million ways that you could take this particular prompt. And depending upon how you're inspired or what your creative spirit is telling you, you could go lots of different ways with it. So I don't want to restrict you and by narrowing it down, but I wanted to just share with you kind of what it made me think of initially. And so I was thinking about this particular painting I pulled over here, because it gives me this effect of sort of this atmosphere, this idea that there's this space, right, that is being taken up by this environment. And who knows, this is like some crazy abstract environment, but I just love the way, the vibes that it was giving me. So anyway, my brain thought back to this painting and I thought, well, maybe I'll just pull it for you so you can kind of see where my heart is at a starting point today. And grab your coffee and get yourself ready. So day 19, like I said, was to let space be part of the beauty. And that's where I'm gonna set my heart this morning. Just being inspired and responding to that. I'm gonna play with acrylics today. And I wanted to show you guys a little bit of my process when I work with acrylics in general. And I usually like to mark my palette so that I know which one's which. So I'll just know this one's titanium white. And this one is going to be our transparent mixing white. Okay, so what I like to do is just grab a brush, and I'm going to start with, let's start with orange. Then I'm going to do orange to pink. You know, you don't have to do all the colors, but at least this gives me an idea of what kind of palette I'm working with. So I'm just doing these little swatches of my mixes over here. I really think I just want to start moving some color around. That's what I want to do, so that's what I'm going to start doing. I have this gray on my brush, so I'm just going to start there. So I think I might have lost a little bit of that recording there, and I did not realize it. But essentially what I've been doing is now mixing with more of the titanium white, so I can start to bring some of these colors forward, because when we make these swatches, right, that are nice and bright and vivid, we're doing it on a nice white sheet. When we start painting color over color, it begins to get more difficult to bring things forward and make them pop, especially because we were using the transparent mixing white primarily in the beginning. So now I'm mixing colors with the titanium white to help those pop forward. I feel like I want to build up to like almost a white, but I want to get there slowly. What's interesting about this color is you can use it a couple ways. You could put it down as a glaze. Let's see where we could glaze, maybe. So you can glaze it over dry paint. And you get like this really nice, fun pop. Let's do a little bit of that over here too. So it kind of, because it's so transparent, makes a natural glaze that way. But you can also add titanium white to it, and you get like this really interesting glowy yellow-green, which is hard to get with other colors. It really is. So sometimes I'll pull this out when I'm just ready for a little pop of something different. And I think I also want to go over pieces of this little viney element that I've made to sort of push that back as well. Yeah, that's good. I like it. I like you. Now I'm going to choose some of the, just go into the transparent mixing white and maybe just a hint of the pink. Okay, don't panic. Are you panicking? Don't panic. So what I'm doing is sort of pushing a lot of this to the background, almost so that it looks a little further back. And I'm doing that by using this transparent mixing white. But the beautiful thing about painting in this way with all these layers is that every mark that's there, even if you can't see some of those initial marks that were made, it all tells a story, right, of how it became. And so it really is such a beautiful process of just continuing to work, continuing to play. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to use this on my finger. Boop, boop, boops. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, that makes me happier. It needed something. Something needed to happen. So I'm going to go back with my Stabillo pencil since I have some of that through here in the background, but I want to bring a little bit of it back to the fore. So really just adding some final marks on here to kind of bring this to a close. And so I'm just going into straight white now. It's kind of like those are the flowers now closest to us, you know, because they're like really popping off. That is so fun. Then I'm going to go into a little bit of white. I've got this teeny tiny little square brush. So it's just a fun process to keep thinking through, like, how can I push this back, or how can I pull this forward? I'm thinking with just a few of these little leaves right here. What would happen if we just pull some of this? Ooh, I like that. So I'm just pulling some of that green gold, just kind of right over where those leaves were in my drawings. And these are always just experiments, because I don't know what's going to happen half the time. But it's fun to see what happens. Let's see. Maybe I'll do... I kind of want to leave that one, and I kind of want to leave that one, so maybe I'll just do this one right here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of titanium white with it. Maybe I'll just cross over a couple of these leaves down here. It's like creating layers and then building bridges to go across them. Create layers, build bridges to go across them. And then repeat. Okay, seriously, I could keep doing this forever and ever, so I need to stop. Okay, so it is, let's pull the tape on this and see what we got going on here. There, I think that looks really great. So can you see all the space that we created around the flowers? And so that is definitely with the help of this transparent mixing white. It really helps to create that sort of atmosphere between things that are transparent and then things that are more opaque. So I just want to pop on again real quick to show you, this is our swatch palette that we had put together, and I just kind of wiped with my fingers some of the colors that we had put over there. I'm just going to remind myself that this was green gold. My handwriting's atrocious. And then we had trans white. So this would be a great record of maybe how this particular painting came to be. But I hope you have enjoyed this little lesson on creating space in your florals. I can't wait to see the way that you interpreted today's prompt. Maybe you took it a completely different direction, and that is so okay. We do have that little community forum on the YouTube channel, so I would love it if you guys would make use of that, and I'd love to see what you all are creating. Thanks so much, and happy painting.